Parents are speaking out after learning details surrounding the arrest of a Temple daycare teacher at Ignite Learning Academy. 24-year-old Jasmine Collum is charged with the offense of injury to a child. She's accused of violently bouncing a 3-month-old baby, causing brain and retinal damage. That's according to an arrest affidavit. 6 News reporter Sydney Deshawn has more. Sydney?
Lindsay, we want to warn viewers at home this story has graphic details. An affidavit we obtained paints a violent picture of what happened before that child was rushed to medical care.
To harm a baby, like, how sick are you?
Maya Warren is a local mother of 2.
You know, that could have been my baby. I have an infant. So.
She's been following the case of Jasmine Collum, a 24-year-old who worked at Ignite Learning Academy. Video shows the teacher aggressively bouncing a 3-month-old. An arrest affidavit revealed it was so hard the child flopped around like a rag doll. In one instance, the affidavit says Collum is seen picking up the child, then slamming them back down into a bouncer. Quote, so hard that the chair and the back of the child's head appear to strike the concrete floor. The child became unresponsive.
That's my baby you're messing with. So she would have got hit probably multiple times.
Collum took the child to the daycare director, who called EMS. Doctors found the 3-month-old had severe brain and retinal damage. It's left parents like Warren questioning the facility and its process of hiring employees.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves for even allowing that to happen. That's your employee. You hired them. You have them with children.
Texas law requires background checks for people working in child care. They're required before hiring new staff and at least once every 5 years after.
For all other facilities in this area, I hope they take notes on this and take actual precaution on who they have around children, have cameras in the classrooms, have cameras, you know, everywhere, so you guys can keep an eye on these things. And I think doing like routine check-in on their employees to make sure that they're okay, they're in the right headspace, because a lot of places they don't check in on their employees. Like, burnout is real.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Hope your day's going pretty good. My day's going pretty good. Got a story for y'all today, coming out of Temple, Texas. And shout out to everybody in Temple, Texas. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a video. Now let's get into the story. On the screen, I have 24-year-old Jasmine Collum out of Temple, Texas. She is straight trash, she's an idiot, and she's also evil. I'm finna tell you why. Let's get into the story. Jasmine Collum is charged with the offense of injury of a child, and she is accused of violently bouncing a 3-month-old baby, causing brain and retinal damage, according to the arrest affidavit. Yes, that's exactly what she did. She abused and she caused brain damage and retinal damage to this child. Now, this here is straight trash. What in the world could a 3-month-old do to a 24-year-old woman to make her want to do what she did to a 3-month-old child? Now, when you think of a 3-month-old child is very fragile, very small, very light. I mean, the bones inside of a 3-month-old baby's body is very, very fragile. And you have to handle a 3-month-old with care. Now, what she did to a 3-month-old child, I am very, very surprised that this child survived. So I'm going to give a hand clap because this child could have been dead, but the child survived. Good. The child is still living. At least that's a good part of this story. Let's get into more of the story. Video showed the teacher aggressively bouncing a 3-month-old baby. The affidavit revealed that it was so hard that the child flopped around like a rag doll. Did you hear what I just said? It was so hard that the child was flopping around like a rag doll. If you have a doll somewhere around, or a rag doll, take that doll and start flopping it around and put the rag doll on the inside of a cradle or a bouncy and start tossing it around and start shaking that baby around and see how that rag doll start just jiggling all over the place. And that's exactly how this 3-month-old baby was doing with this idiot right here, 24-year-old Jasmine Collum. Very stupid. She should be ashamed of herself for what she did. But maybe she's not ashamed of herself. Straight trash. Let's get into more of the story. In one incident, she was seen picking the child up and slamming the child back into the bouncer. It was so hard that the chair in the back of the child's head appeared to strike the concrete floor. Man, woo-wee! I would have been so upset if I was this child's parents. I'm upset right now just by reading this garbage. If you do not have a great attitude and compassion to work around children, do not take your happy tail to a daycare or a school or anywhere where children are around that area where you work at. If you cannot stand children, do not work around children. Some people are just so evil, they do not need to work around anyone. But this woman here has to be very, very evil to do what she did to this child. Man, lock this lady up for a long time. Give her a own dose of her own medicine. Let someone behind bars violate her and shake her around like a rag doll and see exactly how she may feel about it. But yes, the justice system sometimes is whack. But this right here happened in Texas, and I guarantee you that she will pay for it in the state of Texas. Let's get into more of the story. Colin took the child to the daycare director who called the EMS, and they found the child with severe brain and retinal damage at the hospital. Sad situation. Now, as you heard in that video, they do background checks. They do background checks once a daycare worker or a child care worker gets hired. They will do a background check on that person once a year, and after that, every 5 years. Now, when I think of that, I'm saying to myself, it does not matter if someone passes a background check, because you have a lot of people out there that are working around children, passing background checks, passing all type of checks to be in a facility to work around children. But they are some of the most evil-hearted people you may ever meet. Working around children, knowing that they cannot stand children. What kind of mess is going on out here in this world? Just because a person passed a background check, that does not detect whether this person is good to be around children or not. You got teachers that are working around children each and every single day. And on the inside of their mind, they are thinking really bad about your child. Thinking about what they can do with your child or what they want to do with your child. Sad situation. Every single day, you may send your child to daycare or even school or even somewhere where grown-ups are located around in that area, and they are still not safe around those grown-ups. Sad situation that we cannot even take our children to daycare or a school or anywhere around adults without adults assaulting them, abusing them, and doing all type of bad acts with your child. Bad. Let's get into more of the story. And after she did that, all that stuff what she did, the child became unresponsive. So she had kicked this child around so bad. Just think about a child on the inside of a bouncy, just bouncing around, and this woman is kicking the child around. They said she kicked the bouncy over, and then picked the child up by the child's head and flipped it back over, tossing the child around like the child was a rag doll. I pray those parents, I know they had to just ask God to help them with all of their might, because that could not have been me. I would have been up to that daycare so fast to the point you wouldn't have known what the world was going on. Now, Jasmine is booked in jail, and she has a 3rd-degree felony. Good. Like I said earlier, Texas does not play. I just did a story. Here's the title of that story. Someone abused a child in Texas, and Texas did not play with the sentence of these two parents right here. Check that story out. It's very interesting. But we must protect our children. If you see something, say something. I'm going to say this all of the time. And I'm going to say this also for those parents out there that does not want their children. Here are some tips. I know you may have heard this before for those of you that watch my videos. Take your child to the hospital. Take the child to the fire station. Drop the child off to a safe relative house or to a safe haven if you do not want your children. I encourage you to do that, because we got children out here these days that needs our help. They need the daycare workers to watch after them. They need the daycare workers to protect them, just like the children need the parents and the guardians and also the teachers and the coaches and all of the grown-ups around the children to protect them. But today, the grown-ups fail the children so many different times. How many times do I have to do stories like this about grown-ups, adults, insulting and mistreating children? Sad situation. Y'all leave a comment and let me know what y'all think about this, because this story here is truly tragic. And also, give me a like for the algorithm. And also, share this with your family and your friends and on your pages or whatever you want to share it on to get this message out so people can stop abusing children. And yes, that's in a perfect world, but we are living on the inside of an imperfect world. But we all can make this world a better place if we just start by doing the right thing when it comes down to these children. It's not hard, but hey, we are always going to have one bad apple in the bunch. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all have a blessed one. Until I see y'all in this video, holla at you.